Alright, so I think we unintentionally made this sound like a day to remember instead of the used, which I'm also not mad at whatsoever. Hey, what's up y'all, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Sunday Riff Refinery, and this week I think I'm ripping off the used. More specifically, I'm ripping off the used in Drop C, which I don't know if they ever played in Drop C. They might have, for all I know. They've been around for literally ever, it feels like. But I wrote this little lead riff last night, and I was like, damn, this sounds like the used. And I sent it to my friend, shout out Tony, and he's like, yeah, this definitely sounds like the used, man. And then I started writing like too much metal to it. I added double bass to it. I even added a bit of a like breakdown to it. Just didn't fit. So today we're going to backtrack and we're going to use a different drum set and everything. We're going to write this kind of in the style of the used, but with a little bit more gain on the guitars. And obviously I write metalcore primarily, and so that's going to get thrown into there at some point. So we're up here in Logic already. Now I am using the STL Tones AmpHub, and I've chosen the PV Meridian 31. So this is a 3130. This is their like model of it. Some pretty basic settings around here. I don't need a really tight tone with this kind of like rock tone. I actually wanted a little bit more loose, which is also why over in the stomp box section, I do have the overdrive set a little bit less than traditional for what I traditionally play. And this is what we've got going on so far. So you can hear it's got a good amount of low end still, and it's got a little bit of that loose like flub that you normally would cut out for a metalcore tone or any of the metal tones I usually work with, to be honest with you. And if we go over to the cabinet section, I left this alone. These are just the stock cabs that they load up with inside of AmpHub. So if I go over to the drums and open up Contact here, you'll notice that I'm using Robot Dog drums, and I've worked with Ryan at Robot Dog drums for a long time now. And I don't tend to use this as much on some of my metal productions, but for anything less than metal, I really, really love this kit. So just to give you a glimpse of what this kit sounds like, I'm just going to click through a couple of the pieces here. So you can hear it's a pretty great sounding kit as it is. Even better once I mix it a little bit. This is pre-mixed already and I think it sounds fantastic, but I do tend to do a little bit of special something to it just to bring out some of the clickiness in the kick and a little bit more of the tone out of the snare, but the samples on this are honestly great. And this is just the standard setting too. I actually haven't changed it to any of these other settings over here yet. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. Today's just about writing though. I wrote this lead riff by itself. I didn't write any rhythm guitars to it. So now we're going to write some rhythm guitars and we're going to try and, you know, complete this into an actual song. And so let's go ahead and set our cycle to repeat right about here. And I think this came out at about 180 BPM. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Sorry if you guys hear the click track too loudly, but I need to play to it because I'm sloppy as hell anyways. Oh, it'd be great if I actually armed the right track to record. Alright, so for anybody that listens to the used, you probably can hear where the inspiration for that came from. And honestly, I haven't listened to the used in a really long time, but as soon as I wrote that little lick, I immediately thought of them, and obviously it does sound like them. But we're going to roll with it. We're going to make it different, okay? So I'm going to drag this down to a different track. So I've got a bunch of different tracks made up here in Logic, and that allows me to, you know, just keep writing. I have the same plugin copied throughout all of them. I'm not doing an actual lead tone for this because I don't think that this needs any delay or reverb. You can definitely let me know if I'm wrong there, if you think it would sound better with delay or reverb, and we can try it out in the next video or something. But now let's go ahead and figure out a rhythm guitar for it. And I'm thinking something along the lines of... something bouncy like that, and we'll see how that works. I did that way off time, actually. Let's go ahead and try that again. That was kind of it, but that was kind of off time too. Alright, that one might have worked. Let's go ahead and double track that and see what that sounds like. Alright, I think those work. They're less bouncy than what I was feeling originally, but I do like where that's going. I need some drums though, so let's go ahead and write some drums to this so that way I can actually get this working the way that I envision it. So we'll open up the MIDI track here into the piano roll. Let's see what we can do with some beats here. So do we want the snare on the 2 or do we want it on the 3 and really kind of mess with it a little bit? Dun, 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 dun. Maybe something like that. I think that works actually. The snare's too high up. Dun, 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 dun. That might work. That's not it. Okay, let's see how that sounds. I think that's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's getting there. I actually really like that. That's not the same insane like metalcore double bass that I was writing for it last night. So this is progress for me, guys. Not doing double bass is progress for me, trust me. Alright, let's see if that little fill fits there. I don't know, that fill doesn't seem, it's actually not long enough, so let's go ahead. Let's do it a little bit. And then we'll do a flam on the snare. And I'm not humanizing any of these yet. Obviously the velocities are all the same. I'll go back and humanize this later once it's a finished riff, so. I don't know. I don't like that fill. I suck at writing fills. It's really annoying. Let's just do this straight up snare drum roll. All right, now we need some cymbals here. So we've gotten this halfway through the lick. So let's see what we're feeling for. I think we're feeling crashes here because this doesn't feel like, you know, like a verse or anything. That's not a crash, obviously. Okay, let's do a good slam in here. All right. Do we want a lot of cymbals though? Let's see how it sounds like this. Yeah, I think that sounds good right like that. And then we'll leave it out right there. Let's see how that sounds. And then honestly, that can just repeat. That's gonna fit really well for this next piece anyways. And so I'll have that repeat, but then what we'll do is we'll figure out something else for that fill because that fill is just not it right now. Okay, let's listen to this from the top real quick and then we'll move on. What if we do for the fill? What if we do for the final fill? Daka daka. Let's listen to that. Actually, if we do some flams there, that actually would sound pretty good. No, we shouldn't add another cymbal in there, but let's change up the cymbals on this one. Let's take a listen to this now. Okay, and then we're gonna repeat this whole section again. So let's go ahead and copy and paste all of this to the next piece, but we're gonna change the drums completely. So let's go into the drums from here now. And now we need more kicks. And so we'll do halftime on this first part of the cymbals here. And we just need to add more kicks in here. And I have a cool idea for the second piece, because this is actually pretty straightforward. Let's see how that sounds real quick. Okay, so we're gonna move the snares around too. Okay, we're gonna have the snares just every so often, and then that's going to fill there. That fill actually fits better with the double bass there than it did with the single bass before, so that's kind of funny how that works out. And then what I want over here is something a little bit different, which is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ooh, I actually like that. Let's do that. What did I already forgot what I did there. Don't come at me for using that same fill multiple times there. And I think the cymbals could probably change a little bit here, but I want to listen to this from the beginning now. So let's go ahead. You know what? Let's add a little fill here at the beginning. So let's do taka taka. Let's go and listen to that from the top now. right, I already had another idea for the cymbals here. So for the second half of it, I want the cymbals to be even more. So let's go. I don't know, that's too much. Ugh, that's just a lot. So let's go ahead and change. Let's see if it sounds better on a different cymbal like that. I don't know, that's just still too much. So let's go ahead and skip this one. What is my brain doing? Maybe that works. Let's listen to this again. Yeah, that works, honestly. I think that works better for me. All right, that came together a lot quicker than I thought it would, and that's not a bad thing. But now we need something to go next for it, and I'm not exactly sure. So the progression that we're using right now is... which is a really common progression if we're being frank here. And I want to change it up a little bit, but this feels more like a chorus than anything. So I don't know, this is... it's fitting, but I don't want to do the same exact thing. Maybe we need to switch over to the bass. So when bands like The Used write songs, especially their older songs, they would go straight from a banger of a chorus like this as their intro, and then they would have like a clean bass section that comes in next with bass and drums, or sometimes just bass and vocals, and then bass, vocals, and drums. And then the guitars would come through a little bit later, and I'm wondering if that's what we should do. So we're in drop C here. Give me just a second. Let me go grab a GOC bass real quick, and we'll try that out. All right, so I've got the GOC Illumina bass prototype, and I've got Parallax X open to the preset that I've made. I've turned down the high drive on it almost completely. Actually, it is completely. It's at 0%, just because I don't feel like a song like this needs really any distortion. So let's listen to that. Honestly, the mid drive can come down too. So this is a very basic tone. I would need to tweak this quite a bit later. I was working on like a metalcore and gent kind of tone for the GOC bass, and so that's why it sounds like this. And I'm on a different computer right now. All of my other presets are gone, and so this is what I've got right now. I'm not going to dial in a new one at the moment. So let's go ahead and record bass to just this first part though. All right, I didn't let that go for long enough, so let's go ahead and do the next section here as well. I think that actually fits the song pretty well. All right, so now we've got bass tracked for both of those pieces here. So I'm gonna let this play all the way through, and we'll hear the bass with that, and then I'm going to play along with it as it goes out, because I don't know what I'm thinking for the next little... which I know is the exact same thing as the other riff, but it just feels like it could be more fun if this continued. So I don't know what part of the song this is going to end up being, but let's see how that works out here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that fits it. I think I want to do that. So let's go ahead and record that idea real quick, just separately. So that way I've got that down, because I do think that that fits in this song. So we'll record that just separately. That'll need some guitars to go with it too. All right, so that was, good enough. Go ahead and drag that out of the way so that's not bugging us. And I don't know, what are we thinking here, Ryan? What are we thinking? I think that sparks a little bit of an idea in me. All right, so let's go ahead and see how that sounds on bass here. That actually works. It's nice and bouncy like I was wanting earlier. Let's go ahead and throw some guitar on that now. So on the bass, let's go ahead and record the guitar to that. All right, there's one guitar. Let's do one more. All right, that was kind of sloppy, but we're just writing. We're just writing. Don't come at me right now. Okay, that's an easy one to write drums to as well. So let's go ahead and start doing that. It's kind of funny how that works sometimes. When you can't write something on guitar, you just pick up the bass or the drums for that matter, and you're better able to write on those than you were on the guitar. So da 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 da. What am I thinking? Da 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 da. All right, so that's what I want, but I think I need to redo the instruments to make that fit. Yeah, it is. I was just playing sloppy. Do that one more time. All right, does that fit? It fits, baby. We're back in business. Sometimes that's all it takes is playing it with the drums instead. Let's go ahead and do some of the drums first here, and we'll get this going a little bit better. Let's mute the guitars first, though. We want to cut those out. Da 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 da. All right, I think hi-hats fit here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and just repeat all of that for now, so that way we can get back to writing the guitars. This is the process, y'all. This is the process. This is coming along, though. I'm actually really stoked on this. If we had any sound, I'd be more stoked. Oh, I muted the guitars. Okay. All right, I think I messed up the ending there anyways. Oh, that actually worked out. So let's go ahead and try that again. That's coming along. All right, I want to hear bass in that again. So let's go ahead and get the bass back underhand here. Let's see how this goes. Easy as hell because I don't know how to play bass properly anyways, and I just follow the root of the guitar. So we're gonna do the drums first this time around, and we're gonna see if we can get that 4 to the floor beat. So let's go here and try it. And that would be the end of the first half of that. So let's go ahead and add some cymbals in. All right, let's listen to those drums real quick. Okay, so that's what we're working with as far as the drums go. Now we need some actual like guitar or bass to go to that. So let's see if we can come up with anything on the bass. I don't have fills for this yet, but this is gonna be cool. We want this to lead up into the like a snare roll like that, and then we're gonna put a chorus in there. But let's hear how this all sounds like next to each other though. Let's go ahead and bring these back over. Let's listen to this from the top again, folks. Alright, so I think we unintentionally made this sound like a day to remember instead of the used, which I'm also not mad at whatsoever. But let's go ahead and record some bass to this last part here, and then we'll get the guitar in there as well. And then we can call this one finished for now after that. Maybe we'll add some leads to it. I don't know yet. Let's do this though. Alright, so we've got the bass now. Let's set the bass back down and grab a guitar. This is how I prefer to write things lately because I like hearing everything in context and I don't want to wait till the end to write the bass or the drums or anything like that. I need to hear it all in the moment for me to actually vibe with it and like it. And so far this is doing the trick. I actually am digging this a lot. So it's almost the same, but it's slightly changed, a little bit bouncier. And we need one more track to go in there. I want to do like a bouncy lead riff there though. I'm feeling it. Let's see how that sounds. Nope, definitely not. So I don't know, I'm just not feeling that. It's almost rise against E. Okay, that might have been it, but I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and back everything out of here, and let's go ahead and listen to this as a finished product. We're going to work on this some more next week too, I believe. Or you might just see it out here as a final product very soon, but this is where I've gotten with it today. I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be, so let's go ahead and listen to this. We're writing in the vein of the used, but in drop C, and it ended up sounding like a day to remember mixed with, I don't know, rise against. Let me know what you think it sounds like, because then I can find somebody to do vocals like that on it. But save your session like I just did. Save your session. Let's take a listen. Well, that was it. I'm actually really stoked on this. It's the first like pop punkish thing that I've written in a while. I've been writing a lot of new metal, a lot of metalcore, and a little bit of death metal lately. And so I'm definitely back into the pop punk thing, which I'm really stoked for. It is my favorite style to write because one, let's be real, it's a little bit easier to write pop punk riffs and it's just more fun. I'm not worrying about making things needlessly technical or anything like that. And I'm just having fun with the songwriting process. And I love writing pop punk bass. There's just something so bouncy and fun about playing bass for a pop punk track. So hope y'all like this. Hope y'all stick around for next week's version of this as well, because we're probably going to continue this. I want to work this into a full song and not just have it end at a 60-second Instagram reel. So that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.